Welcome back. If you've watched this show with any regularity over the years, you know that despite my appearance that may not indicate it, I am a gigantic fan of hip-hop, have been since the very earliest days, and I've always tried, even if I'm in a room by myself, to cultivate my own personal credibility with respect to the hip-hop that I listen to. To that end, it's been a great run to support hip-hop here in Utah, and I ran into this fellow just a couple of weeks ago at the Kimball Arts Fest, saw him rap, saw his facility with the language, and of course, you can't hang out with him at all without getting a load of his good vibes. So it's a pleasure to bring him to the studio for the first time and to hear a little bit of that good old-fashioned, hardworking, very dense, lyrically sophisticated hip-hop. This is Rodge. How are you, brother?
Good. How you doing?
Good to see you, man.
Good
Thanks
to
for
see
coming.
You. Absolutely.
Good stuff, man. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Talk a little bit about your background, because you had mentioned when we were chatting before the show that you played drums for a long time, and I guess I can see some of that transition, but just talk about your journey with music and where your passion comes from.
Absolutely. Yeah, so probably like many musicians, I was born into a household where my family loved music. There's always music playing, Led Zeppelin, Rush, Styx, all the good stuff, you know. Sure. And neither of my parents were musicians themselves, but just had that passion about it, you know. And so just that love for music was always instilled in me, and then come 6th grade, I went to Treasure Mountain Middle School here in the Park City School System.
Nice.
And started playing the trombone.
A great instrument, maybe not the one that you're dying to play when you're trying to get your game figured out, but...
Well, I wanted to play the banjo, and they're like, no, we don't have banjos in school band. And I was like, well, I'll play the trombone then, because that's super cool, right? So, yeah, I went for the trombone, played that actually all the way through high school, too. I loved it. Jazz band and symphonic band and all that good stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was a blast.
And it is a fantastic instrument. To be fair, we're not going to cap on trombones or trombone players. Beautiful tone. I always kind of think of the trombone as sort of like the cello of the brass instruments.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got that nice sliding effect to it, kind of like you can do with the strings. It's a beautiful
nice
thing.
Mid-range tone. Very cool. So after wild success in trombone.
Yeah, wild success, yes. That's putting it lightly. I was.
Oh, I know.
Yes, I played that all the way through high school. Around 15, 16, I started playing the drums with my brother, who is a very good musician. He's a guitarist, a singer, and he plays every instrument under the sun to some capacity. And he's still in a band. He tours. He goes to like Europe and stuff. He's like the coolest dude.
Oh, fantastic. Who is he with?
Visigoth metal band.
Your brother's in Visigoth?
Yeah.
That's cool.
You know Visigoths?
I do.
Yeah.
I totally do.
So my brother's the lead singer of that band. But so I played with him. I actually was the drummer for Visigoth for like one show. But I was in college at the time, so that was a blast though, man. What an experience to play the drums at a show like that. Was just
crazy.
Terrifying and
then you
fun.
threw your sticks into the audience and retired.
My shirt was off before it even started. The sticks were gone at the end. Oh yeah. It was a blast, man.
That's cool.
But the drums were really the first instrument I was like really in love with. I loved the drums. Trombone was great. It was really fun. I liked kind of the team atmosphere of being in a school band. But the drums, that was fun and got me really into music. And so with college and moving a lot, the drums were really inconvenient and kind of a hassle to move around, and roommates hate you because you're super loud and it takes up a lot of space, all that good stuff. So I ditched the drum set, and it turns out rhythmically hip hop can be very similar as the drums. So, which makes sense, right? So
and did you play around with rhyming before that, or was it just that it kind of hit you one day like I should sort of switch my attention?
I mainly missed live performances, and I really missed creating music. And the combination of those two, I decided I need to figure out something to do. So I didn't even start rhyming until 2013, so 4 years ago.
Wow,
I'd say, kind of towards the end of college, yeah. So yeah, and I started producing my own beats with the drum background. I'm not a phenomenal producer by any means. Writing and rapping is much more my strong suit, but I could produce beats so I could start and get everything going because of the drum background. So yeah, and then what I really liked about hip hop, that's different from the drums, is with the drums and any instrument, like non-vocal instrument, you are communicating and you're saying things and you're delivering a message of some sort. But with rapping, you're like literally saying them, which sounds really obvious, but as a drummer turned lyricist, it was something that kind of shocked me. I was like, oh, wait a minute. like the words that come out of my mouth really matter. And
There's
the
a lot of
message
freedom of
matters.
expression.
And yeah, absolutely. So I do try to make almost all of my songs have like a real message to it and real lyrics to it that seem to get lost in some of the more mainstream stuff. And some of them, like that last song I just played, is just like have fun with the rhythm, have fun with the syncopation and the different things you can do with your rhyme schemes and change it up syllabically and do all this crazy stuff. And so that's what that last song is, just kind of like a fun way to express that. And there's some songs that are like really deep. My wife sings with me on a few songs that are a little more serious, and so it's fun.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
That's great.
Thank you.
I don't usually ask this question, but I think it merits inclusion simply because you've traveled a little bit different type of path to get to where you are now. But who are your influences? And I suppose I don't mean necessarily just in hip hop. Obviously, you cited a lot of great classic rock from your childhood, but kind of who gets you excited that you're listening to, that you just say, okay, I got to go write something. I got to go make something cool. That has me so inspired.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because I think a lot of people think of influence as something that makes you sound the way you sound.
Right.
I think of influence more as, like you kind of express, something that motivates you to want to go write music, whether it sounds the same or not. So with my influences, I'm not saying I'm trying to sound like these people or that I do sound like them, but hip-hop wise, I would say, as far as storytelling goes, I like Atmosphere a lot. As far as flow and rhythm, I like Logic a lot. And as far as wordplay, Childish Gambino is like, he's the man with the wordplay.
He pretty much is at the top of the heap right now.
He was one of the reasons I started rapping.
No kidding.
Yeah, back
and
in 2013.
I forget if they said that I don't know if he retired from rapping or he retired Childish Gambino persona, and so he's just going to be Donald Glover, amazing, hilarious actor who
Everything else.
may have another incarnation as somebody who's, I don't know, become more mature than Childish Gambino.
Yeah, I know he's done with hip hop now, which makes me sad, but
that is kind of sad.
I hope he keeps making music in general though, because his latest stuff like Redbone and stuff, you could vibe to it and it was fun.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So. Yeah, and then non-hip-hop, the classic rock stuff. I think Led Zeppelin, my favorite thing about Led Zeppelin was that they were unpredictable. Of course, now everyone knows all their songs, you know what's happening, but if you could imagine listening to it for the first time, or sometimes I hear some deeper cuts I didn't know. And sometimes they like change time signature all of a sudden, and their drummer does all this crazy stuff, and you watch their live sets, and they're really unpredictable, and I like that. So I've tried incorporating that into some of my later songs, because I think I was starting to get a little more predictable than I wanted to be. But when you do something people don't expect, they're kind of like, huh? And they start paying attention again,
Right.
And that's what Led Zeppelin definitely crushes it in that regard. And so they'd probably be one of my biggest non-hip-hop influences. And
That's very cool.
Yeah.
It occurs to me, and to a certain extent, it's coincidental, because I've been seeing some great interviews. I think there's a series, but they've been kind of parsing them out in episodes on Dr. Dre's Facebook page, and they've got Jimmy Iovine and all of these really important people to hip hop that were a big part of Dr. Dre's formative years, especially after he left NWA, and of course a lot of Eminem in all of that material. And it has been occurring to me, and it's kind of perfect that you're here today timing wise, because I've been reflecting on how Eminem was such a scientist about his lyrics, and like you say, unexpected, and his flow would be different, and obviously you're working very, very hard, and yet it's 2017 when we've got Migos and Bad and Bougie, Bad and Bougie, Bad and Bougie, Bad and Bougie. But I had a question. Are you bad and bougie? Is it bad? It's like it's mumble rap, right? It's the thing now. Yeah. And you're decidedly at the opposite end of the spectrum. What kind of reaction do you get from people when you go out and perform in an environment where that sort of music changes? I get it. Yeah. I'm not a hater on any of that, but it certainly is
a very time and place, right?
It's a very different aesthetic that's popular now, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like relax in the backyard and listen to like Fetty Wap and Migos.
Exactly.
But if I'm going out with my friends, I might need to crank some Migos,
Sure. Well, from what I hear, Lil Yachty is available for your next party experience.
I'll call him up.
But does that influence you at all, or does it influence you in the way of, I'm going to work even harder on my lyricism for that to kind of be the thing? Does it drive you crazy that that's what's popular in hip hop now?
Honestly, it's kind of a little bit of both because I do enjoy a lot of the production of mainstream hip hop.
Sure.
The lyrics and the uncomprehendable or lyrics and all that stuff is kind of not up my alley. So I do actually try to fuse the more new school hip hop into lyrics that really matter and doing different flows that would never really be on the radio. And I'm at the point where for me it's just all about fun. I'm not trying to be a professional rapper or do this as a full-on career. I just want to keep doing it, and I love making music. So with that kind of a mindset and approach to it, I don't get like mad about those things, I would say.
Good for you.
But definitely take note of it,
Sure.
Take mental notes and intentionally avoid sounding a certain way.
Yeah,
and,
no doubt. No doubt.
So yeah.
Well, just take it easy on the lean.
Yeah.
Scissorp is not, it's not conducive to rapid fire lyrics for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't rap that fast if I was on codeine.
Yo, man, no kidding. Let's do social media and get out of here so we got time for one more song.
Yeah, so the two main places to go would actually be, my website is arodge.com, arodge.com, and SoundCloud. All my music is free up there. You can download it for free, stream it for free, whatever you want. So soundcloud.com/arodge is SoundCloud, and then from my website you can find Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. So
Sure.
yeah.
Thanks, my friend.
Absolutely.
Great to meet
It's a
you.
pleasure.
Great
You
to
too,
have
my
you
man.
here.
I really
the
appreciate you
vibe is so
inviting me.
good, and we hope you'll come back again.
Thank you. I do too.
Awesome. Hey, Rodge, check him out. We're going to take a break, and you will get one more version of the Rhyme Slayer after this.